My name's Gary Quinn. I own Taquitos, which has 2 locations in Belfast, and we serve authentic Mexican street food. He's a head chef in a well-renowned restaurant in Belfast. Now, he told me one time that I wasn't good enough, I had to go. That was after doing a 16-hour shift for him, and I had to drink hard and ended up going into work drunk, which I regret. Did I just fuck up this one opportunity? Like, it was my first time seeing Gordon Ramsay. I was just like, whoa. He comes in and shouts at you and makes good TV. He said to me, "You're not going to win this." And I said, "What?" They didn't even know what the name was come the end of the second day filming. They were like, tripod. Oh no, sorry, what's the name? Tripro. I'm like, this is, get me off this show. My mental health took a big dive. Like, because I was constantly thinking, Rachel and Andy, if I'd have said this, if I'd have said that. Woke up one morning, somebody phones me and says, "Gary, is your truck on fire?"
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. For those of you listening or watching, you may be wondering, where's Shay? Shay's off at the minute, so he will be back. Don't worry, we haven't fired him. Cut. But we've replaced him this week with Gary Quinn. How's it going?
Too bad.
How's it going? Pleasure to have you on. Now,
you.
For those of you who may be listening or watching and thinking, who's Gary Quinn? You are the founder, you're the owner of Taquitos in Belfast.
That's correct.
And we'll get into all that, but I suppose opening the floor, give you a bit of opportunity to like introduce yourself, who you are, what it is you do.
My name's Gary Quinn. I own Taquitos, which has 2 locations in Belfast, one at the Big Fish, which is well renowned, and the other one is Blackstaff Mill.
Yes.
And we serve authentic Mexican street food.
Nice.
And like, how did you first sort of get into, I suppose, cooking?
Just always loved cooking when I was younger, even when I was a kid. None of my family members really cooked. My mother didn't, my granny didn't. Just always loved watching TV programs as chefs, and always fancied being a chef from a young age, and that was it.
Where did it like start off? Because I know a lot of people, they'll start off and they'll maybe do like home economics or like baking or whatever, and I know like whenever we say how did you get into cooking, like that's really broad because obviously you yourself do Mexican, but like what was it sort of starting off? Was like, because obviously for me, I'm like the only cooking experience I have is like sausages or bacon or whatever. But like for yourself, was it like, did you like home in on the skills over time, or like was
that's exactly what happened. But I did home economics you in school. It wasn't really, I was never really good at school. Left when I was 4th year. Just never liked school never liked me. It's just the way that one was. And fancied my chances. Went to TAC when I was 15 and started doing a cookery course, and from there I worked in some restaurants in and around Belfast. Not really the best of restaurants, but it was always nice to get my foot in the door and to see what went on in there,
Whereas like when you go into these restaurants starting out, like what's the sort of role you'd be playing there in terms of...
you're in and you're cutting vegetables, maybe washing dishes, general cleaning, and you're just there to not there to make up the numbers by any stretch, because a lot of jobs, a lot of things that need done will be pushed onto you. Peeling vegetables, peeling potatoes, things like that.
And was it kind of one of them things whenever you get into like your foot in through the doors, you say, like, was it the type of place where you were sitting and going, I know I can get somewhere here? Because like I know a lot of people, that's their main aim, is like, obviously we actually talk about school and uni and stuff, and even before you arrived we were talking about how some universities, was it Aaron, you were saying some universities aren't like recognising like BTECs to get in, and we're kind of talking, we always come back to this sort of conversation, is like, do you actually need it? Whereas like for me, I've always said, get your foot through the door somewhere and prove your worth and work your way up. Was that always something you realised you could do?
That's exactly it. For me, my qualifications, I remember me and one of my friends were in the same TAC class, and we went to TAC just because like you had to go to TAC to get your 50 quid a week or whatever it was, you know what I mean? But we never really cared about it because it didn't really serve us any anything really. I mean, you would have learned your health and safety and stuff like that, which was good, but other than that, it was just, we have to go here to get our 50 quid a week. It was mostly in your placement that you would have picked up and learned. But then there comes a point where you have to say to yourself, is this particular place good enough?
Yeah.
Do I want to step outside my comfort zone?
Yeah.
Do I want to become better?
Yeah.
And that is ultimately it.
And did you get to that point where you were like, if I want to get to be a better chef, I need to go? Like, where was
100%.
your sort of, what sort of place did you have in mind of like, oh, I'd love to work there? I feel like that's the type of place I'd want to get
Well,
into.
there was a couple of restaurants in Belfast which I served my time in. I'll not mention them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had like one of them.
Yeah.
Like, he's a head chef in a well-renowned restaurant in Belfast. Now, he told me one time that I wasn't good enough. I had to go. That was after doing a 16-hour shift for him with no break.
Seriously?
100%.
Me.
It's volatile, like.
Yeah, that's we had a guy on like a couple of weeks ago, and he worked in shoe in Belfast, like, and he was just talking about like the hours and like how stressful it was, and I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Like just it seems very sort of, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seems like it's sort of a toxic environment at times.
Toxic it is, but it's, you know, it's there's a balance. Like, as much as it's toxic, I mean, you can learn so much. Yeah, I just didn't think that Belfast was the place for me, and that was the reason I decided to. First of all, decided to go to Spain.
Yeah.
That was after I opened my own little food truck. I had a wee food truck before Taquitos.
Did you? Well, tell us about that. What was that called?
That was about 10 years ago. It was called the Hot Plate, and it was ran out of my mother's 2-bedroom flat.
Yeah.
And I used to do like pulled pork sandwiches and chili dogs and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Was this was in Belfast? Yeah. Oh, you've just said your mind.
There you go.
Yeah.
This was in Belfast and Shortstraw.
Did you just like prepare the stuff and then take it out in the truck then?
That's exactly what I did.
And how'd that go? Was that like a good experience?
Very busy. It was very busy, so it was.
Yeah.
Good experience. Loved talking to customers and loved making really nice food. And
was this after your sort of experience in the Belfast restaurants? So you kind of had a stint of going out on your own and getting a flavour for that.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you respond to when your man said after a 16-hour shift?
I still have a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Still have a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
you tell me I'm not good enough, I'm going to go and prove you wrong.
Yeah.
Like.
What age were you then?
Probably about 20, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're only starting out though, like you're a bit like fuck.
But you know what? I was a throwaway as well. I love drinking and with my mates and doing other stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And, do you know what I mean? It was only till maybe late 20s that I really knuckled down and started to really want to perfect my craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I suppose like going back to like that first food truck you're mentioning there, like would you have said you always had that sort of entrepreneurial drive? You wanted to go out on your own, like?
I did. I used to sell cigarettes when I was when I was about 13. So knock off cigarettes for Roger.
You hear people be like, "Oh yeah, I used to sell sweets in school," like, and you're like, "Used to sell fags."
Go to Gary for the Sterling Jewels, boy. Yeah, fair enough. I suppose like for you at that time, like obviously at 20 and then being told pretty much like that whole sort of you're not good enough, you'll get nowhere type thing, like that's a make or break for someone. That could have went very badly or now it's obviously turned out very well. It's like I would say like obviously you sort of say it's a chip on your shoulder, but it's probably been like the right foot on the pedal to make you go, do you know what? No, I am gonna make a name for myself and prove them wrong. But it's interesting. You said you left the country then to go elsewhere.
Left the country, went to Mallorca to live there for 2.5 years, and just chilled out. Flew to Tenerife to live for 6 months in between, and went to Thailand on holiday. Basically, just taking a break. You know what I mean?
Were you working at all then? Or?
I was working. I was getting people into bars. I was doing PR.
What was that like?
I think the less said the better. But it was good fun.
I've heard a lot of people go out and do that.
It was mental. It's good fun there.
Yeah, and like, where did you go from then? Like, when did you sort of go back to the cooking then? Or
after I left Mallorca. So I left Mallorca in 2016.
Yeah.
And I met a wee fella that I know from around my area, and he told me that he was living in Florida, and he could get me in contact with a girl who owned a workaway company something that interested me. And I thought, you know what, I'll take a stab at it. I've no kids, I've no ties, really, commitments, exactly. And so, I applied for it, and I got it. And before I knew it, a couple of months later, I was flying over to Florida, and that was really the catalyst for everything that we're seeing right now at the moment.
Yeah. And like, what do you mean when you say that? Like, what happened when you went over there?
So I went over there, and I had met 3 chefs that had just left a 3 Michelin star restaurant, the French Laundry, and having that, like, to learn from was just that was, as I say, that was the catalyst.
Was it like 3 Michelin stars is unheard of?
3 chefs, 3 Michelin stars.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay has 3 Michelin stars. He's held them for 20 years.
That's mental.
Yeah.
It's the highest of the highest.
Because this might sound silly, but I remember watching that film, like Burnt,
yeah.
with Bradley Cooper, and he's got 2, and they're like, he's trying to get his 3rd, and they're like, if you get your 3rd, you're like your
Darth
Darth
Vader
Yoda or something.
Yeah. That's
So what does that? What does that mean? Obviously, I hear you say Gordon Ramsay's Michelin, like 3 Michelin star, but like, what does that mean? Like,
it just means you're the elite of the elite.
Yeah, it's basically like, you can probably explain this better than me, but it's basically like Michelin, they go around and review the restaurant, like really high standard restaurants.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So
Yep.
you have to
And if you're good enough,
Better
you
than
get
a 5 on like an NI food rating type thing. Yeah.
just a wee bit. No, it's I was in Gordon Ramsay's restaurant there, not last year, the year before.
Yeah.
And the service and the quality of food is next to none. Like, stunning.
How did you fall in with these chefs then?
As I say, I just booked away, and it was basically luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it was. But when I got there, I decided to knuckle down, get my head down for a while, and then certain things happened. I fell off the wagon and ended up hitting the drink and got sent home.
Flip. Yeah.
Right.
So, like,
what did you learn in that space of time off them chefs? Like,
technique, cleanliness, efficiency, ingredients, style, a lot of things.
And were you like
so
working
much.
in the restaurant with them, or?
Yeah, I was working side by side.
Like, how was that compared to like at the start? You're obviously saying starting out, you're like cutting veg. Were you like, I take it you were like a lot more involved then?
Yeah. They had a different way of teaching than what the people in Belfast would.
Right.
A lot of chefs that I worked under in Belfast or worked near or close to, they seem to think that the way of teaching was Gordon Ramsay's way of teaching.
I just like,
shouting at you, throwing pans, calling you all the of the day, you know what I mean? And it's not.
Yeah.
It's a complete different way over in America that I noticed.
Yeah.
Now, you probably will get
the odd
one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that because I only work for them.
Yeah.
But there was a guy called Miguel Masons, a chef called Miguel Masons, and so after I get sent home, I hit the drink, and my aunt died and blah de blah, and I hit the drink hard and ended up going into work drunk, which I regret. But I didn't get sent home. So when I got home, I was like, did I just fuck up this one opportunity that I had to really knuckle down and get, ahead in life?
Yeah.
And I did. So I messaged Miguel, and I said, Miguel, I messaged Miguel a couple of months later, and I said, Miguel, is there any way that, I had heard that he got a job with a celebrity chef in America called Norman Van Aken. He was going to head up his restaurant in Miami, which I had met them, the 3 chefs in Vero Beach. So I met the 3 chefs in Vero Beach, and then 2 of them dispersed, and Miguel went to head up a restaurant in Miami. And so I got in contact with another company that takes you to work away. Because I couldn't go to the same company because when I went with that company I got sent home. So I got in contact with Miguel and says, look, I'm sorry for what I did and how I behaved. If you give me another chance, I promise you it won't happen again. And that's what I did. I applied with the other company. They accepted me, and so they give me a job working in West Palm Beach, which is about an hour drive from Vero Beach. So you've got Vero Beach here, West Palm Beach here, and Miami here. Vero Beach 2 hours from Miami, and in between you've got West Palm Beach. And I worked in a golf and country club in West Palm Beach, which wasn't the nicest, and I think that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't enjoy myself at all.
No.
In terms of, didn't have anything to learn. Everything was pulled out of a box, and yeah.
Was it sort of like you'd worked with the best of the best, and then it was like
The lowest of the low.
underwhelming then?
Yeah, so underwhelming. But
Yeah.
look, I had to do 40 hours a week in there in
Yeah.
order to rent a car, to then do a 150-mile round trip on my 2 days off, day off, depending on what way I fell. Depending on what way I fell.
Yeah.
So I went down and I got the job and just worked my balls off completely for the next 7 months. First of all, I wanted to prove myself because I had a chip on my own shoulder.
Yeah.
I had a chip on my shoulder by myself because I
Yeah.
knew that I should have worked a lot better the first time, and
So were you working 2 days with this other guy then?
working 2 days. It wasn't just with him. It was under the watchful eye of Norman Van Aken, who, yeah, if you search him up on Google, you'll see exactly who he is and what accolades he has, and his many books.
He's an author, yeah.
He's an author, yeah. You know, the late Anthony Bourdain gives him a good write up on one of his books. He calls him the godfather of Floridian cuisine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask. Like, what sort of like food were you making during these times?
Over there, it's like food that nobody over here has probably ever seen. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many different ingredients, so many different fruits, so many different styles, and into that as well, there was a lot of fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was African flavors, Asian flavors, Floridian.
Yeah.
Just really, really good.
It's funny because you like talk about that sort of stuff, and obviously for over here, I feel like we've a very bland taste in food, because even now we've booked to go away on like a honeymoon after we get married, and there's like we're going to this place in Greece, and there's like 8 restaurants. I remember saying to my dad the other day, and he was like, I don't even know any of them foods. And you're like, yeah, because you haven't ventured outside Northern Ireland, so that's probably why.
The scene over here is coming on, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it really is. There's some really nice restaurants opening over here.
What would be like your favourite restaurants, or restaurants you look at and go, fuck, they're doing well? Like?
Yeah, I love eating in Edo. A restaurant for me is not so much about the food, just the food.
That's the
experience.
It's the experience, the environment, everything about it. You know, the service. Yeah, and the fact that I can sit on the chef's bar and talk to the bar, I talk to the chefs, while they're making my food is I love that kind of experience.
Yeah.
And you think that's because obviously you trained with them types of chefs?
Also because I worked in a restaurant in Florida. The restaurant I worked in, there was a wee chef's bar there. It kind of reminds me of Edo, and I like that kind of sitting down
and like, what were like some of the main things you took away from that time then over there? Like,
just how to not be an arsehole at times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't be going out drinking and showing off and not being me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was one of the main things. And then I learned a lot as well. I learned amazing stuff from Miguel. He taught me a lot of things that I never would have learned if I didn't meet him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting a wee bit freaked out because I'm on their camera.
I think like what one of the questions I kind of want to ask. Obviously, you've talked about obviously going out to that, you know, Florida and stuff, and training with them, you know, the sort of 3 Michelin star guys and whatnot. And I suppose the question we've touched upon, like, why obviously that didn't work out for you, and obviously appreciate like honesty wise, but like, why do you think it worked out in the first place? Like, why do you think the 3 people who, you know, are these Michelin star chefs that you look up to or whatever, why do you think they took you on in the first place?
They had no other choice.
Nice.
There was a group of us. They called us the group from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I swear to God. But there was 3 of us. There was three of us in the kitchen, and then there was 3 of them. Yeah. So there was 3 senior, 3 junior, and the 3 juniors, they used to laugh and joke, Make-A-Wish Foundation. But we learned so much. Like, we learned, like I said earlier, you know, cleanliness, efficiency, flavour, seasoning, just the whole lot. Like,
And what was even like the lifestyle over there like compared to here?
A lot of it was work, especially in the second year as well. So I was doing 5 days a week, and then sometimes 7 days a week. I was doing 5 days a week in West Palm Beach, and then renting a car with my wages to travel 150 mile round trip to Miami to work for 14 hours for free. Just to learn. I know it's
free.
For free,
Seriously, so you were proper like, I'm not gonna fuck this up this time.
I was laser
all
focused as you
table,
like.
like.
Fair play, eh?
And how long did you do that for?
Did that for 7 months until my visa ran out. So what happened was the visa didn't run out. So over the last couple of months, I had asked the chef Norman Van Egan, me and Miguel was the head chef. We went out the back to have a meeting with Norman Van Egan, and he offered me a job, $15. I was over the moon because I wasn't getting paid anyway, so might as well get paid $15 an hour for something that I love doing anyway. So got the job, and the next hurdle to pass was getting the visa renewed. There was just a lot of hassle, a lot of red tape to go through, and in the end it was going to cost them $7,000 to renew my visa. I couldn't pay that even if I wanted to by law. So I had to pack up and get out of Miami within a week. And I had to sell my car. By the stage I ended up buying a car, not rent a car. So I saved up and bought a car, and then I had to get out of Miami. And then when I stepped foot onto the airplane, I knew for a fact that I wanted to go and make tacos in Belfast. Not only that, I had experience from previously doing the American barbecue, if you remember. So I knew that I could jump into something real quick and open up. I knew it was going to be called Taquitos as well.
Why?
I just knew. I don't know.
What does taquitos actually
Taquitos is
mean?
a small taco.
Small taco.
And I loved it. So anytime that I have had off from the restaurant, I loved eating tacos in the taco trucks. That was...
Is that something like, that's actually a good point. I feel like food trucks over in America is a big thing, isn't it?
It is a big thing, yeah.
Compared to here.
Definitely.
Was that sort of the thinking behind... Did you start out with just the truck, or did you have the restaurant first?
No, I had the truck first. The truck got me the restaurant.
Right, okay. So, yeah...
Can I ask, like, you sort of touched on the whole getting obviously sent home basically essentially from Miami. Like, no,
not Miami. I was in Vero Beach first.
Oh, sorry. So, like, whenever that second time, where obviously went out the first time, obviously things transpired. You went home, then back out again, then home again. Obviously through complications with the visa side of things. But like, whenever that happened, where you didn't really, the sound off you there, you didn't really seem like you were majorly upset as the first time. Were you still like, did you sort of think, oh, this is it, like this is my second chance blown? Or
nah, because you just like, there's never a chance blown, you know what I mean? You can only learn from your mistakes. You can only learn from your adversities and what happens to you. Was I disappointed? Yeah. I worked 7 months, and my goal out of that 7 months, especially in my 2 days off, traveling 150 mile round trip, it's like traveling here to Dublin, you know what I mean? Far than Dublin, and then back later on 14 hours after your shift, you know what I mean? Not many people would do it. Even the people I was living with in my apartment at the time, they were like, why are you doing this? And to be honest, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I knew that something good was going to come out of it. And it was easy for me to open Taquitos because I had a lot of experience behind me. I'd already went through adversities, and it was just easy.
It was.
I don't want to say easy, and it was easy. Not a lot of people would be able to do it. But look what I did in order to get to that stage. You know what I mean?
It's what it took serious determination to do that.
Like,
was there not stages, like you're saying, like the hours you were working, like was there not stages where you woke up in the morning, you're like, fuck this, I don't want to drive?
Nah, there wasn't even.
You just loved it.
Well, I hate it. I'll tell you what. Yes, there was actually. When I had to go to this shitty job in West Palm Beach, it was only around the corner, and you were getting a lift to it. Hated it. Absolutely despised it. Didn't want to go. See, when I was going work, I had to rent a car. It cost me $150, $200 to go down to Miami and then back. That's what I loved. I didn't mind working 14 hours for free.
And what was
I'd do it again.
What was it like then when you went into that country club during the week and were chatting to the other chefs? Were they not like surprised at like you working with like basically a big celebrity chef and a Michelin star chef?
It was difficult for me to even be on the same frequency as them. Do you know what I mean? They were there just to pick up their check, and that was it.
They were there to get by, whereas you were there for sort of like an ambition type thing.
There you go.
Yeah. I'd say there's a big difference in terms of like even the pace of work and stuff, and like.
Well, they pulled everything out of boxes. There was times I just used to stand there, as you probably would have seen. And I don't know. I didn't watch the third episode. Well, I did watch the third episode, the start of it and the end of it, of the Gordon Ramsay show.
Yeah.
But I missed the middle of it because I had to go and pick up my truck. So I towed that over and then towed that back. So I had to go and pick it, so I missed that, and I could catch up and thing, but I couldn't even be asked with it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
So we'll go into a bit like how you started the Taquitos here, and then we get on to like obviously the Gordon Ramsay show. So you're back in Belfast. How did you get started then? Like, was it just you knew you wanted the truck? It was going to be called the Taquitos. Yeah. Even with the menu, did you sort of know this is what sort of what I'm gonna make?
It might be difficult, like if you're only starting out, but like I'm subconsciously checking out menus when I'm going to these taco trucks in Miami, for example, or West Palm Beach, or even Vero Beach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just, and then my palate tells my brain, you know, that I remember that it's nostalgic flavors that come to your brain. Do you know what I mean? I remember the beef taco I had. I remember that Mexican chorizo taco I had, and then you just start writing from there.
Tacos, like obviously you over in where you were, it was a big thing, and whereas over here, like I think we said, I sort of touched on this before we started recording. Over here, like we're very much like chippies, pizza shops. Chinese would probably be the most adventurous that you would get for people down in Ballymena. I think there was an Indian shop opened and people were like, what the heck is this? Tacos, like was there ever anybody looked at you and went, dude, what the heck, like tacos 100%. ain't gonna work over here?
100%.
Yeah. And what did you say?
For the first 7 months I lost money. I had to borrow money off my mother just to pay for my staff's wages. Yeah. So I used to chase people up and down for 7 months outside the Taquitos truck, and I used to say, here's a free taco, here's a free taco. Yeah. And they used to go, what's a taco?
Yeah. What's a taco?
Taste it and see.
Did you have that belief that this is going to work? Like, were you like, you know, this is going to
every day? Yeah. I just knew it. Yeah. I knew it was going to work. Yeah. Sounds cocky, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I feel like with things like you sort of have that gut feeling, you just sort of know, like you're like.
Well, I knew, especially after my training with Miguel and the other two chefs, they teach you how to season. They teach you how to create mass flavour. I can make your mouth water through adding salt and acid. Salt and acid enhances flavour. It has to be good salt, and it has to be the right acid, the right amounts as well. So acid in the form of vinegar and citrus I would use. And if you get the right balance of them, you can make somebody's mouth water. And if you make their mouth water, you're on to a winner.
Done deal.
Done deal, that's what I'm saying. Like there's plenty of places that you've been, I know, and you, because yours are both in and around Belfast, that you'll get bland food. Because I've had it myself, because they're not using the right salt or the right balance between salt and acid. Yeah.
And like,
simple as that.
What was that 7 month period like when you were running, like you were struggling to make ends meet basically? Like
it was just, it was difficult, because you want people to taste what you know you're cooking, especially as a chef, not just a business owner. Like I wasn't even a business owner or entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. I was a cook cooking stuff that I like cooking. And when people weren't showing up, you can't expect things to work overnight. But
where was the food truck at this stage?
Big Fish.
Was it always there?
Been there for almost 5 years. 5 years in September.
Fuck.
So
I feel like I always see it, like driving past Belfast, but it's like you don't think like 5 years, you know. I suppose with lockdown and all as well,
that's
like it sort of just wipes out. But like that's mental, man. And like, what was the sort of turning point then, where things sort of started clicking for you, and you were like, right, this is going somewhere?
It might have been the good weather in 2019, because people have sort of, they knew it was there after. So it started in September 2018. And then they would have knew that I was there by March 2019. March, April. And then after that, they're coming down and they're tasting, and
Yeah.
by this time we're getting better at making our tortillas. We're perfecting that and perfecting everything.
Yeah.
Just sort of knuckling down on.
You almost had that time to like home in and like
That's exactly
dial
it.
your team in,
Yeah.
dial like your sort of like
Yeah.
production sort of system
100%.
out,
Yeah.
and to the point where if you have 50 people in a queue, like bosh, away we go.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Just working out exactly how much you need and your stock, and not even only that. My staff member Joey Taco, don't know whether you've heard of him.
No.
But yeah, we had an artist came down and spray painted one of the subways.
Right.
Joey Taco. So he ended up, he calls himself a local celebrity now. So he does, so. And then I have my brother working for me, and a wee fella who looks like me. I even think he looks like me as well. Do you ever see when someone looks like you and somebody else says he looks like you, and you go,
Yeah.
can't see it? I actually seen it. It freaked me out. I looked at him and I was like, you fucking spit at me. But yeah, and then I'll play a couple of jokes as well, where there was a couple of people standing there yesterday, and my brother and Casey's the one that looks like me. We're standing there, and I says to the people, I said, I'll give you 10 points if you guess which one's my brother, and they always point to Casey, even though Matthew's my brother.
Yeah. How big of a team do you have? Obviously, you have 2 locations.
It's getting bigger, yeah. It's definitely getting bigger. There's about 8 or 9 of us now at the moment. Yeah.
And sorry, do you want to go on that?
No,
I suppose like learning, like where's a bad workplace, where's a good workplace. I'd imagine you're a pretty good person to work for then.
At the start, no, because like I was learning, and then even if we're going to go on and talk about the restaurant, it was horrible. It was, that was.
Did you see it from a different point of view then when you were actually running it yourself? You sort of like maybe understood a bit more why the people that maybe weren't as good to work for were the way they were. Like?
Yeah, especially knowing what I've been as an employee in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no angel, so I understand with, people do have problems and issues in their life, and they maybe do stuff that they're not proud of. Do you know what I mean? Like I've certainly done things that I'm not proud of in the past, and there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is draw a line and move on. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like whenever it comes to like employing people or working with people, or even like people coming in who you maybe see were in the a similar position to you, where they're kind of looking a bit of guidance or whatever, like obviously don't doubt in a kitchen things can get a bit flipping heated and fiery, but I suppose like you wouldn't sort of strike me as the type of person that would sort of go say to someone, oh no, you'll get nowhere, like get out or whatever, or would you be?
No, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just not in me to do that.
Yeah, because you probably see like you don't want to put that what you've been through onto someone else.
Exactly, and if they do, you never know. They might be like me and come back to bite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might come back and be better. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, no. I forget what we're talking about.
So obviously you have the food truck, and then went on, and now you have actually have a restaurant, like not on wheels. Had.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Don't know what happened.
Was this the story of being? Was it burnt down? Or something?
Burnt.
Flip.
Fuck. Was that the restaurant?
The restaurant burnt down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about that, and I thought it was something to do with the truck. But
Yeah.
What happened there then?
So I woke up one morning, posted a photo of my brother holding a Taquitos mug, and he got a lovely new teeth put in, right? I swear to God. And somebody phones me and says, Gary, is your truck on fire? And I looked out the window and I says, no, it's not.
Yeah.
He says, hold on, my sister just phoned me and says Taquitos is on fire. And at that moment I knew that they weren't talking about so he said, hold on, I'll phone you back. And he phoned me back a couple of minutes later and says, your restaurant's on fire, get up there right now.
Yeah, because I did see a news article about it, but then I'm pretty sure whenever I watched the Gordon Ramsay show that they did say, because that's what's triggered my sort of thinking that that was still up and running, because I think they did say you do have 2 locations, but obviously the restaurant at the minute it's not. Is that something you're wanting to get back up and running, or for reasons just?
It couldn't have came at a better time, that restaurant going on fire. A lot of people think that it was an insurance job.
Right.
I don't have any insurance back because I have or had a drink driving
Right. Okay.
offence against me
Yeah.
that I didn't declare properly
Right.
according to the insurance company.
Yes.
So they voided my policy.
Fuck.
I was mad. 150k put in there.
Oh, that's awful. Like. And what happened with?
Fucking broke my heart.
That's
Broke me in
awful.
half.
Fuck.
But on the Gordon Ramsay show, before we do go into that, on the Gordon Ramsay show, he said it wasn't aired, but when they had us at Glenop Castle in Ayrshire,
Right.
he said he asked us all a question at the start, as we were all lined up in front of the castle, and he said, or not a question, he asked us a question. He said, what happened to your restaurant? I says, it's burnt. He says, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it wasn't aired, and it doesn't really matter if it was aired or not, but he's right in what he's saying. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, because we're all gonna excuse me, we're all gonna go through adversity many times in our life, and it's just about how you come back from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the restaurant, was it just like an accident, or like what sort of happened?
It was. My mother washed tea towels and then put them in a tumble dryer.
Right.
This is all according to the fire brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, the fire service. She washed the tea towels, put them in the tumble dryer, folded them while they were still hot, put them in a plastic bag, and then we stuck them under a bench when we got up to the restaurant. And 18 hours later,
They caught fire.
they caught fire.
Seriously,
Fucking mental.
that's mad. Tea towels, like.
Mental.
It's mad how they can find that out. Like,
That's
a conclusive investigation.
I
Like,
know,
that's mad.
It was
You couldn't
mad.
even make that.
It
You
was
couldn't
mental.
even make that up. Like,
It was mental.
yeah. But you always find that. Man.
And then not to get any insurance. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. Not to get any insurance back. I was like, this is like a fucking nightmare, an
Yeah.
actual nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, when am I going to wake up?
My dad runs his own business, and he went through something like that. Like, it wasn't an accident, but like his property was like where his workshop was basically set on fire. Like, this was maybe 15 years ago, and like I think he did get insurance, like, but fuck, like, to not get that, like that's basically just.
I'm still fighting it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it go, because
Yeah.
one of the question they asked me was, have you ever been convicted of a criminal offence other than a driving offence? And I said no,
Yeah.
because it's a driving offence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I a criminal for doing
Yeah.
that? I don't know, maybe I am,
Yeah.
but can I have a wee drink of water?
Yeah, walk away, yeah. It's
Yeah.
mad, isn't it? Like, when it comes to those things, like, it can be such a complicated process filling it out on your own as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Madness.
I also hate that mentality where something like that happens, where it is just a complete and utter a freak circumstance of, like, a freak event. Because a
know.
similar thing happened to a business down in Ballymena. I can remember, like, full place went up on fire, big furniture store, and that was the one thing that went, it's insurance job, it's insurance.
That's-
People love to just whip that out of their arses as if, like,
I wish it would have been an insurance job, but you wouldn't see me
Yeah.
driving up here in a Volkswagen Caddy, I'll tell you that. I swear to fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they were to give me 150k back, then
yeah.
It's even like when that happens and like you're at such a low moment, and then people are just fucking saying shit like
Yeah.
that. And it's
Yeah.
just like, fuck.
But was that the sort of biggest? Was that one of the biggest challenges you've been through? Obviously, you've put your, that's a personal, like,
the biggest to date.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't even that. It took me 9 months during COVID to build it, so
Yeah.
it's just difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. And then staffing issues and VAT. I didn't know about VAT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I didn't know about VAT. 20% VAT. I'm like, what? Why didn't that teach us in school?
Yeah.
Mm.
We say this all the time. We say, like, you can't know everything, like, as well. Like,
You
it's
just
these
have to
things-
go through the fire, excuse the pun,
Yeah.
to then
Yeah.
learn. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
But I know exactly what I would do next time
Yeah.
when I open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I will, but not just yet.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to open a load of food trucks
Mm-hmm.
and have them dotted
Yeah.
in and around.
Yeah.
That was my pit stack to Gordon, was to get another 10 food trucks all
Yeah.
over the UK. If there's any investors out there,
This
You
is
know
your
where to
guy.
go.
Like.
If you were like to go anywhere else, like where would your next location be? Like, even if it was outside Belfast, though.
Ballymena.
right up fucking
Yeah.
Fair Hill there.
Fair Tower Centre.
Big shopping centre of Ballymena.
You would get No one, I would say.
Nobody would come. Taquitos or not, there's
No.
Yeah.
Heard of the on Taquitos place down there?
Fucking
Your
hell.
boys mixing salt with vinegar. I thought I was only on chips. Hey, wise up,
There you go.
yeah.
Here, there you go. What makes chips taste nice?
Yeah.
Salt and vinegar.
There you go. Here,
Nice.
chefs, high five. But I suppose, like, looking at all that sort of stuff we talk about, like, yeah, obviously the downsides of everything, but like, obviously, what you won an award. Like, what's
Won an
been the
award.
upsides of?
That was a good wee night out we
Yeah.
had. Me and my brother, and my family and
Yeah,
close ones.
yeah.
That was a good night.
What was it like?
It was
best healthy takeaway.
Best healthy takeaway. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What was it like to have your name called out for that? Like, were you?
It was-
Did you know you were going to win? Did you
I
have
was
an
I was drunk. I got up on stage and made a fool out of myself. So
Nice.
I did.
Yeah. Who cares?
It's one of them ones.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't care. I was just.
Who were you up against? Who were you up against that you won the award?
I was up against Canto
Canto, yeah.
and Canto Remember.
Can't remember. I know Canto, like, but
Yeah.
Canto.
yeah.
And so back to the original. Would you move? Would you ever have, like, obviously we talk about Northern Ireland a lot and food trucks and whatnot, but would you ever venture further afield? Like, would you go?
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
If I got the right support network, the right
Yeah.
investors on board, then definitely, I'll be looking to
Yeah.
expand.
You have a plan. Seems like you have a plan anyway. If someone came along to you,
Somewhat,
so-
yeah.
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 I can say that there's I know how to do one, so if I know how to do one, I know how to do 10,
Yeah.
but I can't do 10 if I'm inside the bottle trying to read the label, you know.
Is there a
Yeah.
worry though, like, if you did expand, like, you obviously can't be in 10 food trucks at one
That's
time.
exactly
Is there
it.
a worry that, like, the quality? Because I remember, like, a couple of years ago, we had a guy on, Ryan Cullen, who's like a really big barber. Like, he cuts like footballers' hair and stuff from
Mhm.
Newry, and he was saying about maybe opening up a place in Liverpool and stuff like this. But like, there's that fear of, like, you can't control all that. Then, like, you're sort of giving up a lot of control and trust
That's
in
it.
your employees.
That is
I
exactly
suppose.
it. But you're not going to be able to expand if you don't
Yeah.
trust the people that you're bringing on board. It's difficult, very difficult, but you're never going to be able to expand if you don't
You need to
trust.
just trust your employees, like.
Yeah.
So
Not even so much employees, but if any investors are coming on board, you need to
Yeah. They have the right interest in mind.
definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's get on to the show that you were on. Gordon Ramsay. Was he was like an idol of yours? Like,
He was,
Yeah,
yes.
was. Yeah.
Capital letters.
Yeah. Capital letters.
Fuck.
Future Food Stars, it was called on BBC One. It's still going. It's still, like, I think we're on, like, by the time this airs, I think probably like 5th episode or something will be out. Or is there? I take it there's more than a couple. There's more people, but we're on episode 4 at the minute.
Are we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
you sadly
Yeah,
went out of the last one.
episode 3.
I suppose, like, starting off, like, how did that come about?
I just seen it on, I think it was Instagram or something. I says, I'm going to apply for this. I was sitting
Yeah.
with my cousin and just said, I'm going to apply for this.
Yeah,
And that was it.
And, like,
Yeah.
what,
There was interviews. There was like 7 interviews, and then I had
7
I
interviews?
think so.
And, like, was it on Zoom, or did you have to go
Zoom
over?
interviews, yeah. And then there was one in England as well. I had to go.
And
Yeah.
what was that like, or what sort of stuff were you doing for that? Was it just questions, like?
Just questions, and then they would have the what do you call that there? So my name's Gary. I own a business. I own Taquitos. The one that
Yeah.
you'll see on the.
Oh yes, it's like a kind of what do you call that? You work in TV. I'm going back to Aaron's.
It was just called like a pre-show interview.
There you go.
There we go.
They,
Bosh, a pre-show interview.
That's why he's here.
That's why. That's why we have him. That's why you get the big bucks.
So they asked me to do a pre-show interview, asking questions, and that was it.
Yeah.
Really. And then they phoned me up and says, "Congratulations, you have been selected to take part in Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars Series 2.
It's mad how, like, the whole thing sort of works. So, like, obviously you seen it, you applied for it, you went through sort of, like, I would say 7 interviews. For if I had to do 7 interviews for a job, I'd be like, you know what, take your job and stick it where the sun doesn't shine. But you just kept persevering, like.
There was about 5 to 7. I can't really
Yeah,
remember.
it's mad.
But,
Yeah. So, like, It was recorded a brave while ago, like yeah, and like obviously obviously at the minute it's still ongoing, so like probably, but obviously spoiler alert, episode 3, things didn't work out entirely your way. I'd be honest, like I didn't expect it. I was shocked because I've watched the whole thing, man.
Did you watch it?
I was
shocked.
The first episode and then bits and parts of the last one.
I'm sorry to spoil it on you.
Fuck.
Like
you got put out or what?
what? But like I suppose like we'll get round to discussing that fact. But like, what was that sort of experience like for you? As soon as obviously it's like you do the interview process, but then there's actually turning up and doing it, like filming it. Film cameras.
The filming, I loved the filming. I really enjoyed. Bar the 3rd episode because it was non-existent. They were just fucking. They were making fools out of themselves. But the filming, the episode 1, even episode 2, Rachel was a fucking nightmare. To be honest with you, to work with her. Like,
I sensed that. Like
the first episode, I loved being in charge.
That's what I was about to say. Like that's the one I watched, and I thought like you were one of the better ones. Like you definitely stood out in that episode.
Yeah, I feel like we sort of were talking about this before you came along, and we've done the podcast. I think back in the day we would have been proper like blowing smoke off people's asses, like trying to like give them what they want to hear. But in general, and genuinely saying, and I said this to you off camera, I think like throughout the whole thing, you came across, I thought, very well. And I know obviously you'll get people like Twitter making fake accounts messaging all this crap, but like in general, I think when you look back over it, like hindsight's an amazing thing, but like first episode, basically you were challenged to do this Scottish like banquet at this Scottish castle, and like you were in charge of like the kitchen side of things. What the heck was going on in the serving side of things, like the actual presentation, like that was a
to be honest, like they were part. It was made look like they were part of our team, but they were off filming their own wee thing. Yeah. So they were, and we were over here doing the cooking side. Yeah. So we didn't really. Yeah. It was only we would have engaged with them maybe once or twice. Yeah. Just to say, like, have you got the table set? Are you ready to go? You know, but they had their own thing. But what's the back?
Yeah, it was a bit mad, like the whole sort of like putting in it, what was a wee pine cone thing on the table and being like, I just don't want to overdo it. And then it like went back to, you were blue team, was it, or red team?
Red team, yeah.
But then I went to the blue team and their table was unreal. Like I remember, like I was watching it, listening, and she was like, "That is the most beautiful table I've ever seen in my life." Then it cut back to your one's table. She literally was like the girl was like, "Put a bit of moss on it," and then she tried to like decorate the chair with a thistle. And Gordon Ramsay, Gordon Ramsay came over and was like, "Have you ever sat on a thistle before?" And then he walks away and goes, "Effing hell, pure agent." And I was like, "This is quality television." Like, but like. You could actually see like what was really good, and I think what really worked out in your favor, and I'm only saying this from like an outsider looking in and what actually watching the episode. You're obviously red team, the blue team done really well with like the presentational side of things, because obviously they had people with the experience like to actually do that. Then you had the kitchen side of things, which just fell down absolute arse, like. But then with yourself like leading that team, you could definitely see, and like what was interesting was compared to the third episode, where there was a stage where like you were trying to get involved in something, and I feel like it was the guy with the black hair and stuff kind of just went, "It's grand, I've got it sorted," and you could almost see you step away. I think you were a wee bit sort of like you could tell you wanted to get involved, but you stepped away.
Well, here's the thing that the TV don't tell you. First of all, in the second and third episode, there is in the second episode there was 3 teams. Yeah. So 3 teams. So there's 3 choices. We had a Welsh pizza, a meat pizza, and a meat-free pizza. Yeah. Ours, we were given the meat-free pizza, so there you go, do your best with that. But then Gordon comes on camera and he goes, "You know, that's a bold choice." I'm looking at the TV going,
like, it wasn't your decision to make.
This is not. Do you know what I mean? So certain things are set up for TV. And
was it like that every week, or was it?
There's certain things that is set up for TV to make the viewer.
Well, talk to us a bit about that. Like what? Was there parts of it for you where like, fuck, like I thought it would have been a bit. I didn't expect it to be.
In the third episode, you're saying I'm stepping away from Andy. Because he's the team leader. Everybody gets a team. I was the team leader. You could see I was the team leader. I was assigned the team leader in the first episode. Yeah. But
no, what I was referring to was the first episode, because you like there was a bit where you were doing the meat, and then I think it was like the vegetable side of things. It didn't look like you were doing it anyway, but you kind of came over and said something, or I remember, because you goes, I'm gonna make this honey whatever sauce, and your mom went, dude, we've got it sorted, and you just kind of went, Grant.
No, I went, have you got the recipe for it?
Yeah,
I think something like that.
Yeah, and like kind of just
he says, don't you worry about that.
Yeah, and you kind of just went like dead on. But like, I think
he ended up making a big bowl full of dressing. It was right at the last second when we needed the dressing, so I just set it to the side, started a new one, made a wee tiny bit of dressing, and dressed the veg, and I don't even think he noticed.
Yeah.
But anyway,
TV's mad, like.
It is mad.
Yeah. Was there any, like, what about the relationship then with Gordon Ramsay? Like, what was he like on the show? Like?
There was no relationship with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
Zero. He comes in and shouts at you and makes good TV. And that's it.
Is it very much like what you see on screen is really the amount of time he's there?
I never seen Gordon Ramsay off camera.
Yeah.
Not once.
That's so strange.
It is strange. It's a shame. It's a shame as well because... Excuse me. It's a shame as well because that's why I wanted to go over. Maybe he wants to ask you a couple of questions about your business or whatever. But that was the expectancy that I had when I went over. But... don't always,
especially because like you see old sort of Gordon Ramsay back way back when there was no like sort of digit, like like whatever, but you seen like old, was it Kitchen Nightmares and stuff, and he did come across this like fiery like character, but then like recently like there's been he's branched off into like other forms of like TV shows where it's not like he effing and blinding people, and he does actually come across as
a
like
nice guy,
a nice dude, whereas obviously like you got the part where you didn't have the privilege, and maybe there is that side to him, I don't know, like you didn't have the privilege, you just got the side off him, which was this is TV.
Yeah.
And like
there was one when we were doing the seaweed in Wales, he off camera he'd said to me, "You're not going to go for a swim now, Gary, are you?" And I said, "No, chef." And I went, "Fuck." Yeah. Because over the course of a couple of episodes, over the course of the 3 episodes, the 3 challenges, whatever, the production kept saying to me, "Don't be calling them chef." Yeah. But it's very hard to to not call someone chef when you're in both the same industries and you've looked up to him as a chef for 20 years or whatever. Yeah. There was another one as well after Sophie went in the first episode. Yeah.
That was the right decision, by the way, I thought. Yeah.
After Sophie went in the first episode, he walked out and then he came back in, if you remember. Yeah. And he said, "Look, I just don't want to know what yous are doing, on camera. I want to know what yous are doing off camera, like what yous are watching on TV." And I just butted and I was like, Gordon, I've been watching you for 20 years. He said, "I don't give a fuck, Gary."
Yeah. Did he?
And I just went, "Right, no bother."
Did he say that?
He says, "This is about you, not about me, Gary."
Oh my
God.
This
wasn't on the show, was it?
Nah, it didn't get heard.
But the cameras were recording.
I would say that they would always be recording.
Yeah.
But they only are certain things because you're at the end of the day you're filming for 48 hours in total. You know what I mean? Or thereabouts, and there's only an hour.
Yeah.
In the episode.
Where were you sort of like put up, or what way does that work?
We were put up in some really shitty places, shitty places, shitty food.
Seriously?
Terrible. Wales, when we went to Wales, stunning location, the worst hotel. Like my ancestors wouldn't even have stayed there if they were still alive. And you would have thought my ancestors were still alive, actually staying in it.
Yeah. Flip.
If you don't mind me asking, like, do you get any sort of money for doing the show, or?
We got £1,000 out of pocket expenses, but that wouldn't cover the
time out and
the mental side of it.
Over and all. Was there any, like, what was your sort of opinion on the whole experience then, like, looking back on it?
I didn't really enjoy myself at all, bar the first episode. Didn't enjoy it really that much. I wouldn't recommend it to any entrepreneurs. If you're from Ireland, Northern Ireland, then I would not recommend going because we don't usually do well on the BBC anyway.
Did you find there was a sort of like divide compared to the other ones because you were from over here?
Don't know. Who knows?
No.
I felt like in the third episode, like, you can look at it from many different perspectives, and I know a lot of people are, but like, obviously the first episode, and like for those listening or those watching who maybe haven't watched it, like, first episode did a Scottish banquet. I thought it was an enjoyable episode. Like, your team, you headed the kitchen side off it, thought you did well. Like, at the end of the day, like, I loved the bit where you were like cutting the meat, and I was like, flip, he's ballsy cutting that in front of all them, and you were just like, look at that meat, that's class. And I just like, all the Scottish people were lying around, I was like, confidence is key. Like, and that was it. And then like, you were obviously that you were like sprinkled the salt, and your guy goes, oh, look at you, sprinkle the salt all fancy, and you were like, it's because it evenly distributes the salt. And he was like, oh. And then you were like, Anna looks class. Like, you did have.
He said, why are you sprinkling that salt from my head? And I said, because it evenly distributes it. He said, oh, I thought you were just showing off. And I said, was showing off as well.
Yeah. But like, I would say, like, you came across, I thought you came across well. Like, I thought you were, like, I think a lot of people would go on that and like be very unconfident and stuff, whereas like, I think you came across very well. And like, for most people, like, there's a bit of, you always have like a couple of people who are like the personality, like they bring a bit of personality to it. And even in the second episode where you were doing like the pizza stuff, like I love the fact that they kept in, like, whenever you shout it, like, number 33, your pizza's ready, and if you don't eat it, I'm going to eat it for you. And like, all like the other ones were like, oh, he's a dick.
That was Amy. She sent me blondies yesterday too. I still speak to Amy, so there's Amy I get on well with.
The thing is,
get on well with Chris as well, the one that gets sent home from the pizzas.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I feel like the first episode that is it Amy that does the iced coffee stuff?
No, Amy does Blondie Bakery.
Yeah. Right, okay. The first episode where the girl got sent away, I feel like she did have a nice personality, but I feel like it just didn't come across in the right way, and that the challenge just wasn't right, and there's a lot of blunders that she made that I thought you just knew there's no coming back from this. Yeah. Whereas I think, like, obviously second episode, it was like quite, in the first episode you had like the ginger girl, I forget what her name was. Rachel. Yeah. And obviously she had got the grilling, as they say, like, I'm gonna Gordon Ramsay grilled her, and then it was like, I'm gonna prove to you in the next week how good I am. And then I feel like at that stage there should have been like something to be like, no, do you know what, she took over that, and there was no, like, there was absolutely no debating over it. She was like, no, I'm taking over this here, even though your other guy had the experience. It was strange the way the whole thing worked out, because when you actually look back and connect the dots, you're like,
would make you think that it's all set up for TV, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So then the third episode, like, sort of explain, obviously, the controversial one, so to speak, the one where you got sort of put out, like, what
something I wanted to touch on is, like, I seen this clip on TikTok, and it was like, you know, the bit in the episode where you're like saying about doing like taquitos and tacos, and your boy's like, no, like, athletes aren't going to eat these and all this here stuff and blah blah blah, and then it cuts,
he said Nicola Adams is not going to take tacos,
and then it cuts to her and she's like, that's exactly what we would eat. And I was like, fuck,
I don't know. Look, there's certain things that I did on that show. I not wear a mask. I was sick and tired of wearing a mask. The whole world was open back up, and you were told what to eat, told how to walk, told what to do. Yeah, don't touch that surface. I'm not many people tell me what. Nobody tells me what to do. Actually, I don't know whether, you know, like, don't be telling me. I'm not a baby. Like, do you know what I mean? So
was it very sort of like structured? The show was it very like, you stand here, you do this, you know? Yeah.
So I would say, like, from connecting the dots, it's kind of like what that sort of stuff there. Like, there's a game, and if you play the game under certain
if you play the game, you're going to go far.
Under
do you think?
I don't play. I spoke to the psychiatrist, right? They put you in touch with the psychiatrist before the show airs.
Yeah.
Just to find out a bit about you, and to see if there's anything wrong with you.
Yeah.
So we spoke, and at the end of our half-hour conversation, I told him that I was going to win it, obviously, because there's no point in going into it if you're not going to win it, or if you don't think you're going to win it. And he said to me, "You're not going to win this." And I said, "What? What's that all about?" He said, "Well, you tell me that you weren't that good in school, this is just like school for adults, because I was disobedient in school, didn't like being told what to do, and yeah, that's what he told me. He says, you're not going to go far because this is like school for adults. If you're good, you'll go far.
And do you think
if you're obedient, you'll go far. If not,
do you think the show reflected that? Like
100%.
Do you think the people doing well were like just yes sir, no sir, you know?
The thing that
you wouldn't think of it, you would actually think it was about the challenges.
No.
I think the thing is, like, from being like, from you do have a sense of, like, most people would maybe agree with this point, like, from being from this country, like, from seeing you on it, you do sort of have that connection immediately where you're like, I want this guy to do well. And it was really frustrating in the third episode watching it, and I genuinely feel like, and I'll be honest, if you came across like a dick, I would probably say you came across as a bit of a dick, but like I didn't think you did. I think like it was a bit of a, I'm honest, it actually made me sometimes feel slightly uncomfortable, because like you opened your mouth as if, like, you know, and tried to and you were just like literally three people like immediately shouting over the top of you. And like
Madness.
even when it came to not even just the food aspect of it, but then you had the film, basically it was like a fitness sort of product, and you had to like, you were involved in like, it was a bit like Apprentice. They were involved in like filming a commercial. This guy stepped up, like a big bodybuilder, like massive yacht, like took his top off, and I immediately went and then you turned around and went
cringing.
You went, taking the top off's not very authentic, like you wouldn't see that. And like your girl, the ginger hair girl,
both of them were foaming. They were like,
she was like,
shall we get him to take his top off? And I'm just like, are you here to win this fucking challenge, or do you want to see some dude take his top off?
But she immediately
he's oil all over his skin, all over his skin. It was fucking embarrassing. So it was.
But like you sort of said along the lines of like, I thought you made a very valid point, but immediately it was like, nah man, like, no, I see people with their top off all the time in the gym, and I was just like,
I've never seen anybody with their top off in the gym.
Honestly, like, I think if you look back at it, like the way they've like edited it, and maybe there was other stuff on the background, I don't know.
So
but
much
like,
other stuff. I'm telling you right now, there was a plethora.
What were some of the things maybe even in that episode that wasn't aired? Or
just what you seen times 100. Like that was happening all day. Like anything I was saying, I was like, there's nuts in this here, are you not going to tell them that there's nuts on your packaging? And you know, like and then Rachel was saying stuff like tacos are full of carbs and there's gluten in them. Not the ones I was going to make for the thing, because they're corn tortillas, so they're gluten free, and they're very low in carb. Where's the carbs?
And it was a very niche it was a very like niche, like sort of looking at it from an outsider's point of view, it was a very niche, like the product was very much bottled into like a certain category, which was this whole bulking thing. But then as well as that, even when it came to like the sort of like the naming of it, like was it Tri-Pro? They
didn't even know what the name was come the end of the second day filming. They were like tripod. Oh no, sorry, what's the name? Tri-Pro. I'm like, this is get me off this show to fuck. I can't even.
It's madness.
Absolute madness.
And like when you got put out, was there any conversations with Gordon Ramsay after, sort of been like, oh, best of luck?
Nothing.
Was that just that? That's so cute, eh? See, like it's just, I can imagine from like your position, like, you know, you idolise this person, and like he's the whole reason you wanted to be on the show.
I know, but he doesn't care about that. He's got another 2 TV shows to film, and
he probably gets
a helicopter to get picked up in, and like I'm just a little minion, you know what I mean? Lemmings. Did you ever play that Lemmings about 20 years ago?
The first episode.
That's what I felt like on the show, like a lemming.
The first episode, I must admit, did like when he came in the motorbike. There's all these shots of him riding the motorbike and listen to go, and everybody, like, he drove in and everybody was like, wow, like, listen to us, like, he's on a motorbike, he's not on a unicorn, like, what the heck? Like, she looked at me and just went, TV.
To be honest, like, it was my first time seeing Gordon Ramsay. I was just like,
so that was the first time you saw
that was the first time I saw him.
See, that's cool, that sort of side of things is authentic, but at the same time, cool. Like, Gordon, we're going to get shot you riding in a motorcycle. He's like, yeah, I'm going to look class, like, aren't it?
Was it all sort of like just first take? Like, there was no like, oh, we need to go to that.
We almost did at the start of the first episode, we almost did another take But Gordon, like, he came out, he was like, I have no fucking patience. Let's get this right. And then production must have just said to him, let's just leave it. We don't need to do a second take.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
but moving forward now, see to be honest, Gordon Ramsay, he had a wee thing in his ear to tell him what to do, right? But I thought he was excellent. Like, he's a good actor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
A really good actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't, like, there's times when I do him, you'll see him TikTok videos that I do and Instagram, whatever. Like, I'm doing 10, 15 takes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for one 20-second video.
Aye.
Because I'm not on the.
I suppose he's been on the game how long now? Like,
That's it.
And he's probably doing like 3 shows at the same time at the minute. It's mental, like.
But I suppose, like, looking at it, like, from your perspective of that sort of the third episode, like, obviously things didn't work out in your favor, but it, like, how was your perception of it in terms of, like,
the whole show?
Were you, no, I suppose that third episode, like the sort of penultimate one, like, whenever he said your name to say, like, we're finished,
I didn't speak a word.
Yeah.
I didn't speak. I let him walk on past me, and I just couldn't wait to get out. I actually,
like,
as
you
soon
walked
as
out
he
and
said-
goes, it's alright, guys.
as soon as he said my name, I got up and I bounced, and then he was like, "Young man, sit down." And I was like, I'll just sit down and see what he has to say. He said, I think it's very admirable what you've did in your restaurant or whatever, coming back from your restaurant burning or whatever. Or did he mention that? I don't even know.
No, I don't know. No. He just sort of, I think he sort of said, like, he said that you're admirable and whatnot, but like,
so he said, I think it's very admirable what you did with your restaurant or with Taquitos. And I wish you all the best or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just bounced. I wasn't standing about hugging and kissing people. It
it wouldn't
sucked all my energy.
No, it wouldn't. That side of things would have felt very disenchangeous because, like, I genuinely, from an outside, and I did actually read, like, an article on this last night, where people, there was other people, like, I felt uncomfortable watching it for bits of it, and I know other people. There's an article, I don't know whether you've read it, but people were like there, it was a bit of bullying.
Was that in the Sun?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from.
I
but
think his son made
I'm
it.
obviously very cautious about what I read and stuff, and, like,
Yeah.
obviously where it comes from. But, like, I'm only saying from, like, a personal experience of actually watching it. It just, like, it just felt very much like there was a series of events that kind of, like, they talked over the top of you, like, sort of like basically fobbed you off.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I could kind of understand why, and obviously you were saying there's other stuff 10 times worse in the background, which kind of made you go, do you know what? I'm
Not
just
even
gonna,
10 times worse. It was just like that times 100. So
Yeah.
that same
yeah.
thing went on for.
But then obviously they started trying to, like, grill you during the bit where you had the 4 people in front of you, the sports marketing
Yeah.
girl, Gordon, and you
Yeah.
were just like, I felt like it's very you just sort of very blunt and, like, explaining your point, but then obviously that was sort of seen as airing dirty laundry. So,
Whatever.
but, like, it was good.
I just wanted them to know that I had nothing to do with
Yeah.
that shitty product.
Yeah.
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 And if I was to go for that there, then thank you. See you later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
I see you have no
no
sort
qualms
of
at
qualms
all.
about it. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time. Nice to meet you, Gordon.
And how have you felt things have went after the show? Like, in terms of, like, you know, now that it's airing now, do you feel like there's a bit of, you know, are you getting an influx? Like, do you feel like it's benefited you in some way, even on a brand level, a personal level?
To be honest, so I came home at the end of June, and my mental health took a big dive. Like,
Yeah.
because I was constantly thinking, Rachel and Andy, if I'd have said this, if I'd have said that. Naomi, I wasn't really bothered that much because she didn't show anything over the 3 episodes.
Yeah.
God love her, she just didn't really have anything to bring to the table in anything.
Yeah.
Did she go last night? I didn't watch last
I haven't
night.
watched
I
last
haven't
night.
watched it
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she went anyway in the 4th episode, but just like sleepless nights and just thinking, what if I would have did this? Maybe if I'd have said that, you know, it wasn't to be.
Yeah.
So, but it was about a month before the show actually aired that, I don't know, just whatever came over me just to say, you know what, fuck it, like,
yeah.
what's going to happen? Whatever's aired is aired. And to be honest, I don't think I came out, as you say. I don't think
No, I
look like a dick or anything. So
No.
it's fair play to
definitely
BBC, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I was just being myself. So
And do you think like being on the show's benefited you anyway in sort of just like publicity or?
I was walking down yesterday down Castle Lane in the city centre, and people walking over to me shaking my hand, and I don't know if that's any benefit to me, but you know, there's people who respect me for going on it. I don't know.
I feel like over here people will I feel like people have some sort of similar mentality.
Yeah.
I don't think most people over here will probably like see what I saw and be like, do you know what, fair play.
Yeah.
Because like in general, in genuine, like I did feel like that sort of that episode where you were dealt a very unlucky hand in my opinion.
I don't think it was unlucky. I think these things are
everything happens for a reason.
These things are set up. There's a big production team with BBC and Studio Ramsay, so this didn't happen by accident. You know what I mean? They
I would obviously unlucky, maybe the wrong word for it, but just like the position that you were, that looked like it was like sort of you were being pushed into. It was very like
pushed into and then trailed out off and sent home on a flight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But even
your taxi's outside, Gary. Go ahead, pick your stuff up from your apartment and jump on your flight within an hour.
Was that it? Like, seriously?
I swear to God.
Was it just like, where the fuck?
Bye bye.
But like,
that's mental. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I thought there would have been like obviously being on the show, I thought even after maybe Gordon Ramsay would have came, you just sort of shook your hand and like, oh,
you would think, wouldn't you?
And then like the fact like, just right, that go get your stuff and go, like,
bye bye.
Ruthless, like.
It's so ruthless. No fucks given at all.
That's showbiz, I suppose.
That's it. That's TV for you.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you don't do these things, then you'll never know.
Yeah.
I suppose like now, following on from that, like, what, like, where's Taquitos now? What's your sort of aspirations with it?
Yeah, so we have the wee food truck down at the Big Fish, as you know. Prep location up on the in the Blackstaff Mill, and then I'm looking at getting another truck here next week, to cover some parties and stuff that I should have did. Actually, I was planning on doing it in COVID when I had the restaurant. But it never happened at the time, and then the restaurant burnt.
Weddings would be a good shout.
Weddings as well. We have a wedding in September as well.
Nice.
So there's loads of bookings, mostly corporate bookings coming in. 200 and 300 people at a time. So another truck or two won't go to miss. Definitely.
Yeah,
that's good.
You said at the end of episode 3 that you'll not see the last of you yet, or Gordon will not see the last of you yet.
Not.
Do you kind like, even not from in front of like a camera sort of sense, but like when you say that, what does that mean? Like?
Just the same as well, I look at it this way, like Gordon Ramsay would be a puppet as far as I'm concerned. Like, he's not out for himself. He can't really do the normal things that we do in our life. You know what I mean? Like go to the shop or he's to a schedule. That's what I seen. Like, you have to be here, Gordon. You have to be there, Gordon. You have to be there. Yeah. No longer was he left filming after this show. He would have been going to another show and vice versa. So his life's not really his own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what did I mean by that? Just that he like his team and the people around him will see me prosper. I don't need Gordon Ramsay to make me look good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like if you say like best case scenario, you won the show and obviously you would have got like 150 grand. That's a lot of money. But like, do you think it would have made that big of a difference?
Not really. Sure, I built a restaurant of 150k and wasn't. I went because I wanted to meet Gordon Ramsay. He was my hero. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. 150k. I'm sure I'll come around sometime again.
You don't seem like, and we'll maybe wrap it up here, but like obviously like there's kind of, you don't seem like I suppose you're like he's completely ruined your sort of like thought on him or such. You seem very sort of like you were disappointed, but like
it is what it is. I just seen him.
You're an
for
adult.
who
Like
he
you've came to realize that things aren't.
Things aren't is what you see. You know what I mean? Before I applied for that show, I thought of Gordon Ramsay in a different light.
Yeah.
But I mean,
saw something a little bit different. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now, obviously, new food truck or whatever and stuff, and I suppose if people are listening to this and they think, I want a bite of that, where do they go? They go to the Big Fish and
down to the Big Fish. Yeah, especially in the sunny days. It's going to be packed. You're going to be standing there for maybe 15-20 minutes, but when you do get your tacos or your rice bowl or your burrito, or your birria tacos,
Yeah.
you're going to be delighted.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
We must head down.
Money well spent.
Definitely.
Satisfaction.
Yeah. Nice.
Definitely.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, if we'll link all of the socials and stuff that you have, website or whatever, go follow and whatnot. But it's been a pleasure, Gary, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. And good luck for everything anyway.
Thank you very much, boys.
Nice one, mate.
Thank
All the
you.
best. Cheers.
See you later.